So in Lesson 8, we talk about using formulas in geometry. And if you remember correctly from algebra, we use formulas to find things like circumference and to find area and to find perimeter and to find all kinds of different things. In geometry, we're going to add just a couple more that we haven't learned in algebra and apply them to geometry. First, we'll just do a couple review things. If you remember correctly, P is going to stand for perimeter. Okay, so we're looking for a perimeter of a figure. It's just going to be the distance around a figure. So we take for a rectangle, for instance, we have our width and our length here, and a formula for perimeter of a triangle or a rectangle is going to be 2L plus 2W. Okay, and all that means is we're going to take 2 times the length, because we know both these lengths will be the same size, and the width is going to be the same size, and we're going to multiply them together, and then we're going to add those two together to get our perimeter of a rectangle. And then to get the perimeter of a triangle is just simply to add up the sides of the triangle. So add, this is side 1, side 2, side 3. So our perimeter is going to be side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. And that's how we find the perimeter of our rectangle and of our triangle. Now, if we wanted to go in and take a circle, for instance, if you remember correctly, a circle, in order to find the perimeter of a circle, we don't call it the perimeter, we actually call it the circumference, which is the distance around the circle. So our circumference is 2 pi r, which is going to be 2 times pi, which is 3.14, and r, which is our radius. And so that's how we find, just to kind of review here, to find the perimeter or circumference of these figures. So the first type of figure we're going to look at finding area is the area of a square or a rectangle. In order to find the area of a square or a rectangle, we're going to take, and you're going to multiply length times width. L stands for length, and W stands for width. So, when we look at this, let's take this figure for instance. We have a figure here that looks like an L-shaped figure. What we can do is we can actually dissect this figure into 2 different rectangles. So when we dissect this and turn it into 2 different rectangles, we're going to have rectangle A and rectangle B. So we're going to first find the rectangle, or the area of rectangle A. So we're going to say area equals length times width. So in this case our length is 5 and our width is 2. And when we multiply those, we get 10. Then we're going to take B down here. B is going to be, the length is 6. In this case, it's 6. Or no, 6, excuse me, this is 4. 6 is for the total length. So you got to look at here from this side to this side is 4. So we're going to say it's 4. Our width is 2 again. 4 times 2 is 8. Now we're not finished. Once we've done that, we have A and B, and we've got to add the 2 together. So we're going to simply add 10 and 8 together, and we're at 18. Now since I didn't give you what the units were in this case, we're just going to call it units. So 18 units squared is our final answer. So again, to find the area of a square or rectangle, we're going to take area equals length times width. So the next figure we're going to talk about is the area of a triangle. As you see here, we all know that a triangle is a 3-sided figure, and that from top to bottom is going to be our height. So just like you have a height from your base of your feet all the way to your head is your height, and then our base, so the very bottom of the triangle, is going to be our base. And so in order to find the area of a triangle, our formula is area equals half base times height. Now I've seen it done a lot of ways, and a lot of people see it done a couple of ways. But sometimes you also see it as base times height divided by 2. Either way works. Either way is going to give you the same answer. Okay? So if we took a triangle, for instance, and gave us a base of, let's say, 2 and a height of 4, we're going to put in area equals base of 2, a height of 4, and we'll just call it divided by 2 in this case. So area is going to equal 2 times 4 is 8, divided by 2, and our area is going to equal 4. And again, since I didn't give you any units, it's going to be 4 units squared. So again, for the area of a triangle, we're going to have area equals half base times height, or area equals base times height divided by 2. Where height is just like this, our base is at the bottom, And this is how we find our answer. So a new formula we're going to learn this year in geometry is the Pythagorean theorem. And we talked a little bit about this last year in algebra, and I kind of introduced it a little bit. We didn't go into too much depth with it. But the Pythagorean theorem is always based on a right triangle. And so to give you the definition of a Pythagorean theorem is the sum of the square of the lengths of the legs A and B of a right triangle is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse C, and is written as A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now to run through a couple of definitions here. A and B, so our basically our height and our base are going to be the legs, what we consider the legs of the triangle. And then the long part here, over here, is that's opposite our 90-degree angle, is called the hypotenuse, and we label that as C. So how do we find our formula is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now you're going to see examples where it's going to say, like in this case, it's going to say find the hypotenuse of this right triangle with a height of 12 centimeters and a base of 5 centimeters. So all we're going to do is we're going to start off with A over here is going to be 12 squared plus B squared, which is our base here, 5 squared equals C squared. So now that we've got our formula set up, we're just going to go ahead and start this off. 12 squared is 144. So the last problem we're going to work on today, and last formula we're going to learn about is temperature. Now, I even got the question yesterday in class about how can I use this in real life? What are these situations? How can I use these in real life? Well, here's a situation where we could actually use this in real life. Sometimes you're going to see temperatures may be given to you in Celsius. Sometimes it's given to you in Fahrenheit. And so what we're going to do is in this case, we're going to turn C is going to stand for Celsius and F is going to stand for Fahrenheit. So our formula from converting something from Fahrenheit into Celsius is we're going to multiply 5/9 times the difference of whatever it is, Fahrenheit minus 32. So for example, let's say we're given 77 degrees, okay? So our Fahrenheit is 77 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Celsius equals 5/9 times 77 minus 32. So now that we've got that problem, we're going to take and subtract 77 minus 32. We'll get Celsius equals 5/9 times 45. And so now we just need to multiply 5/9 times 45. So we'll go ahead and put this over 1. We'll cancel out. The 9 is going to become a 1. The 45 is going to become a 5. And when we multiply across, we're going to get 25. So when the temperature is 77 degrees outside, its counterpart, Celsius, is actually 25 degrees. So remember, C stands for Celsius, F is going to be for Fahrenheit. If we want to turn something from Fahrenheit into Celsius, our formula is going to be 5/9 times the difference of the Fahrenheit minus 32.